There's finally a big update for Randy Orton, so we'll see what's going on there. We'll also get into what's going on with Finn Balor, what Bianca Belair had to say, and more. Let's start things off with everything related to Randy Orton. So, the last time we talked about Randy Orton, we went over all the reports on how WWE had a pretty loaded 2022 schedule for him, if he never went down with that injury. It was reported that WWE had 2 major stories ready for Randy Orton, including a feud with Riddle and Roman Reigns for the back half of 2022. Obviously, none of those plans came to life because of how serious Randy Orton's back injury turned out to be. The other mystery surrounding Randy Orton was the back surgery itself. There was a long period there where no one knew if Orton had gotten the surgery already or if it was still coming up. Well, now, there's a slight answer to that question as well. Randy Orton's wife recently posted a picture of Randy in the hospital for the surgery. So it looks like the procedure was recently done, and now he'll officially start his journey to make a full recovery. It was a massive back surgery, so it's probably going to be a little while before he's back and cleared to compete. Randy did make it known that he plans to retire at the age of 50. He'll be 43 in April 2023. So, according to his retirement plans, if that's still what he's sticking with, there's still enough time for him to take his time and fully recover from this procedure, and then make a grand return to the ring for a few more years. Even Kurt Angle addressed the reports that Orton recently had the back surgery done. Angle had this to say, quote, "Your back controls everything. You can't do anything when your back is hurting. I'll give you an example. Randy Orton just had surgery on his back. He literally couldn't do anything, and this surgery is hopefully saving his career. But that's how much back problems can affect you as a pro wrestler." End quote. So Kurt Angle is speaking from decades and decades of experience. He knows just how annoying the back problems can be, especially for a wrestler. So Kurt Angle thinks it was the right move and how Orton might have just saved his own career. Randy Orton's return is definitely going to be a massive one. His absence is definitely felt. So it's going to be great to see him back out there, picking up from where he left off at. It feels like Riddle will be the first superstar that Randy Orton would have to interact with when he returns. Obviously, their tag team and friendship was left on a cliffhanger since Orton went down with an injury. So maybe that's a spot there for Randy Orton's return. Maybe he returns to reunite with Riddle, but turns on him right there on the spot to start that program with Riddle. And it sort of writes itself. Maybe Randy Orton, the character, came to the realization that he almost just lost his career. So now that he's back in the ring, he's done with the silly tag teams and wants to go back on a serious route. He doesn't want to waste any more time. He lays out Riddle and starts that chase to the world titles. Randy Orton's last world title reign came in 2020, but it was extremely short and forgettable. So if they make that his goal coming off this near career-ending injury, it'll be a nice little journey for him. It'll literally be all the canceled 2022 plans that they previously had for him. He'll feud with Riddle, and depending on when he exactly returns, and if Roman is still the champion, Randy Orton could have that program with Roman Reigns as well. But it's definitely a great thing that the surgery is over and done with, and how Orton is now on that road to getting cleared to compete again. Bianca Belair's Raw Women's title reign is well over 200 days long, and she's starting to have a dominant title reign. As far as dream opponents and possible names for who can dethrone Bianca, 2 big names are getting mentioned by fans. These 2 names are Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley. Bianca Belair was recently a guest on the Not Sam Wrestling podcast and addressed the idea of facing either Rhea Ripley or Charlotte Flair. Bianca had this to say in response to the idea of facing Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania 39. Quote, "Anytime Rhea Ripley and I get in the ring, we always make magic. I feel like we did some amazing things in NXT together. Then we came up on Smackdown, and we've been on both sides of some amazing things. On opposite sides of this mountaintop, trying to reach the top. That would be amazing. I've always considered Rhea Ripley and I a WrestleMania match. a feud that can go down in history as one of the best feuds that the women have had. I would love to have a WrestleMania match with Rhea, end quote. Bianca Belair then switched her attention to the idea of facing Charlotte Flair and had this to say, quote, "That's a dream match of mine to have at WrestleMania, but I will say that I still have my goal of taking down all 4 horsewomen. So, I still have Charlotte Flair that I need to take down. Whether it's Charlotte or Rhea, I have so many WrestleMania matches that I still want to have. But Rhea Ripley is definitely at the top of the list. She's showing out right now on Raw." So, when we crossed paths last week, I was like, I knew this was coming. We'll see what happens, end quote. So if Bianca Belair holds onto her Raw Women's title heading into WrestleMania season, one of these 2 matches seem very likely for WrestleMania 39. So we'll have to wait and see what route they decide to take Bianca Belair in. Does she complete her 4 horsewomen list by defeating Charlotte Flair, or does she face her old NXT rival, Rhea Ripley? They're both great directions for Bianca Belair's WrestleMania plans. 2022 has definitely been one of Finn Balor's best years on the main roster since his debut year in 2016. That was the first year that Finn Balor became the first ever Universal Champion, but he was injured during that match and never quite made it back to the top. But ever since taking control of the Judgment Day and turning heel, we're definitely seeing a fresh new side of Finn Balor. He's leading this faction, he's getting wins over legendary superstars like Edge. He's being presented in a whole new light and appears to be heading in a good direction. It was just a few months ago where reports came out that claimed big plans for Finn Balor as a single competitor was on the way. Well, a new report from WrestleVotes appeared to be supporting this same idea. They claim that Triple H and Finn Balor have always been close since Finn's days in NXT, and how Triple H allegedly views Finn Balor as a reclamation project. So that's more good news that Finn Balor could definitely be back on his way of being towards the top of WWE. He's already one of the top 3 heels currently on Raw, so once all of those big singles plans start coming into play, he'll only continue to climb up those rankings. As far as things with Judgment Day go, they're still going strong and don't show any signs of having issues. Finn Balor is continuing to raise the bar for himself. Rhea Ripley is finally coming back into action, and Dominic and Damian Priest are also doing their thing. So hopefully even better things are ahead of Finn Balor and the entire Judgment Day faction. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.